So when most investors hear the term IPO, their minds likely go to an initial public offering or a company going public and offering shares of the company to the public for the first time. Now, for Fundrise, this is a bit different, and their IPO stands for Internet Public Offering and is a unique strategy that they're using to allow their investors, people investing on their platform, to actually invest in the underlying company of Fundrise itself. Now, that company is technically called Rise Companies Corporation, and in this video, we'll be going over exactly how this Fundrise IPO works and whether it might be a good investment for you to consider if you're someone who's already using the Fundrise platform, or if you're someone who's just looking in from afar. Additionally, if you want to sign up for Fundrise at any point during this video, we've got a link in the description and pinned comment below that help to support the channel. So if you want to help us out, feel free to use that, or if not, no worries. Now let's get into it and start off with what actually is Fundrise. Well, launched 10 years ago in Washington, DC, Fundrise is a real estate investing platform with a twist. Now, this is the initial platform to successfully leverage crowdfunding and combine that with real estate. The model is to essentially get a bunch of investors together who are all investing a little bit of money and then use all of that money to go out there and buy real estate. This really shook things up in the real estate industry because in the past, you had to be either in the know or have significant amounts of money to get started with real estate investing. But now with Fundrise, you can do so for as little as $10. So that's Fundrise, but what is the Fundrise IPO? Well, this internet public offering allows Fundrise users to become Fundrise investors. See, unlike a traditional IPO, this is what's called a primary offering. This means that shares are not being listed on an exchange, nor will they be publicly traded. That means you're not necessarily going to have liquidity with these shares that you buy. There isn't necessarily a secondary market after you initially acquire these shares. This is kind of similar to any other kind of startup investing where you are betting on that company eventually going public on the public markets with a traditional IPO or being acquired by a larger company in some kind of acquisition. In both of those cases, you end up getting paid back, but before then, it's very difficult to cash out your investment. The same thing is true with this Fundrise IPO. Now, the purpose of this IPO is to get Fundrise users to have actual buy-in into the company, because if they are financially invested in the company, they're going to be a lot more likely to advocate about the company to their friends and just be more passionate about investing in Fundrise. Now, an important question that many investors likely have is how much does this Fundrise IPO actually cost? Well, fortunately, there are no fees to participate in the Fundrise IPO. However, you do have to be a Fundrise user in order to participate. Now, the situation is that Fundrise is offering nearly 2.6 million shares of their common stock to investors through this IPO. Your returns are going to be based on the success of Fundrise over the long term as a company. So if more users come to Fundrise, if Fundrise does bigger and bigger deals, that's going to be generally good for you as an investor because it increases the perceived value of Fundrise. Now, as we mentioned, this is also a pretty illiquid investment. There's not necessarily a secondary market for people willing to buy these shares off of you. Additionally, Fundrise does not expect to pay a dividend to these IPO shareholders, so you'll have to keep that in mind if you plan to invest. Now, there's an interesting model for calculating how much you can actually invest into this Fundrise IPO. See, they want to tailor it specifically towards existing Fundrise users. If you're not someone who's already using the platform, they don't necessarily want you just investing in the IPO. So your maximum investment in the IPO is limited to 50% of your total amount invested on Fundrise. So for example, if you have $10,000 invested on the Fundrise platform, you could invest up to $5,000 in the Fundrise IPO. If you've got 50 grand, you can invest 25 grand in the IPO. And if you have no money invested on Fundrise, you won't be able to participate in the Fundrise IPO. Now, all in all, this is a pretty interesting model that not a lot of other companies are doing. Most other investing companies out there aren't letting you actually invest in the company itself. So if you are looking to do a little bit of maybe say angel investing or dip your toes into the water of investing in private companies, and you're already a Fundrise user, this could be a cool option for you. But if you're not an existing Fundrise user already, then you'll have to sign up, maybe using the link in the description and pinned comment below, and get started investing before you'll be able to access the Fundrise IPO. Now, if you want more information about the Fundrise IPO, we have a full comprehensive review on our website, investingsimple.com. The easiest way to find that is to head on over to Google, search for Fundrise IPO review, and then click on the link for investingsimple.com. We'll see you over there.